This is the old colonial burial ground, it's called. Dates from 1639, which is the year of the founding of Salisbury itself, when it went from Colchester to Salisbury. This is where they buried. There are 3 what they call wolf stones here. That's a large wolf stone there. That may even be covering 2 graves. But what it was laid on top of the grave to keep the wolves from digging up the deceased persons. And the 2 things that were the biggest challenges for the Puritans were wolves and Indians, and the wolves were the largest one because the Indian population had been decimated by illness. The normal upright type, there's over 122 here. What we've done is we've taken all the stones on a map, we've numbered all the stones, and then we have a reference of all the names in alphabetical order, so that if they're looking for often Boardman by way, it's on stone number 22. You look on the map for number 22, which is right there. You get a good reference that it's right there.
Well, it's really the commission, which is a town board, and we all have participated to some degree. We learned the ways of cleaning stones and so forth by interacting with Newburyport's Glee Woodworth, who came here and has been very helpful to us. And she has had this project on her plate for many years, and she's been very successful at it. And we're just really neophytes and trying to do essentially the same work. And only because of our faithful member here, Paul Turner, and his dedication to cleaning and lifting and tireless activity done here do we have this graveyard looking the way it does today. And we urge all people who are interested in town history at all to come down at some point and wander through this cemetery.
This is the 2nd year that I've done straightening the stones, completely repairing them. I've found some stones that were buried below the surface that we didn't even know were here. So we added them to the list, and it's coming out pretty good.
We welcome anyone that is able to, even though they might not be able to deal with the heavy stones, they can rake. They could help us clean in many cases. There's all kind of lichen that needs to be removed, and we welcome anyone's participation in this project because we ultimately, this is the first cemetery that we plan to do because it's the oldest, but ultimately we would like to tackle other cemeteries in the future.
So there are quite a few people who are buried here that lived quite a while. There's one person here, it's a woman, she died at 102 years old, which some people think people didn't live that long back then, but they did. That's Thomas Bradbury and his wife Mary Bradbury. Now the name Thomas Bradbury and Mary Bradbury are very famous in this area because of the witch trials in Salem. Thomas Bradbury was a solicitor or lawyer that documented all the legal works in this area during the 1600s and the founding. Mary Bradbury, his wife, was accused of being a witch and went to Salem and was found guilty, went to jail. But that was at the tail end of the whole witch story, and some speculate that she was allowed to escape, but she did, came back to Salisbury, and nobody ever did any more with her. However, these 2 names are the 2nd generation. This is not the Mary. This is the daughter of the Mary and Thomas. But there are a few 1600s. This is the most prominent. But there are areas up front of the cemetery where there is no stones whatsoever. But I suspect there's quite a few people buried there. Either the stones were never put there, either they've disintegrated or sunk into the ground. At some time we would like to do some ground penetrating radar to see where and who was buried here. I don't know if we'll know who unless we find a stone, but we'd like to know that that there are graves in that particular area there. This one was one of the oldest. It still has that. That's that angel with the wings. That's the style that they used. It's Mary Moses Bushwell, 1819. Died at 41 years old. Well, the event coming up, which is July 18th to the 21st, the Pike family, which covers worldwide. They have a great website. They have a few hundred members of it that have done DNA testing, so they know which tree of the Pike family they're attending to. But anyways, they're coming here. We've taken this cemetery to clean it up, set in the stones, clean all the stones, set up the podium so that they can easily find the graves, markers that they're interested in. And that is true of not just this cemetery, but Maplewood, the True Cemetery, and Salisbury Plains. Wherever the Pikes are buried, and we've taken the names out of the entire list, listed just the Pikes, where they're located, so it makes it easy for them on their trips around the town for the 3 days to locate whatever family member they're looking for. So, on Tuesday, Roy Pike, who is the president, I'm going to meet with him, and he's going to give me the itinerary, so at a later date I'll know what they're doing on which date between the 18th and the 21st, when they're going to be available to the public. They're going to be walking around this a few hours each day that they're going to have to be on their own to visit the Pike School, to visit all the cemeteries, to do whatever they wish in this area. I would imagine some of them have never been here. This is all because of the 375th, this is the 375th anniversary of the founding of Salisbury, and Major Robert Pike was one of the original founders and a very important person in this whole area. So that's one of the reasons why they're coming back to the beginning, and this is where it all started for the Pikes. Volunteers would be great. I do have a volunteer from Amesbury, actually. He's a history teacher. He hasn't started yet, but he said he's very willing to come and help us. Any help would be welcome.
So you could use help here.
Yes.
Before that, doing what kind of work?
Straighten up some stones. If you look in the distance, you can see some of the stones are leaning. Those are the easiest to straighten them out, and clean any one. Like this one here has lichen all over it. Easily cleaned. We use a very soft dish detergent and water and plastic tools that won't scratch the stone to clean it off. I also have a special solution that is used for spraying on any surface. It will not damage the surface. It's biodegradable, and over time it will kill all mold and mildew and all that by itself. You can get in touch with any member of the Historical Commission or the Historical Society. My email address and everything is on the town website under genealogy work.